Alright then guys, hello, I'm Arrow in the Knee. If you didn't already know that by clicking on this video and being subscribed to my channel, I hope you do know this. Now, a few times I've been asked by a few people to do wrestling reviews of shows. If you don't really like wrestling or haven't seen this show, either like wrestling or probably click off this video because it won't apply to you. And if you haven't seen the show from last night, the Extreme Rules pay-per-view special, whatever they're calling it now because of the WWE network, you might want to go buy the pay-per-view illegally download. But I would never tell you to illegally download anything. So, yeah, if you haven't done that, you want to go do that because spoilers! I'm going to tell you everything that fucking happened. Okay, so, yeah, a lot of people ask me to do this, so I'm doing it. And I always end up saying, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow, man. I'll do it. I haven't done one since Royal Rumble 2013, so no, I think I did one for WrestleMania 2013. But I got this. Check out my sexy Space Invaders t-shirt as well. So yeah, I'm gonna check out all of these on my phone. And I have all the matches noted down. All I need is just a little glance, to be honest, because I remember anything if you give me a couple of seconds to remember it. So, we're going to start with the pre-show. The first ever pre-show I saw, by the way. I've never seen a pre-show before. And it was WeLC, which, before I watched it, to be honest, I was like, this is going to be the dumbest shit ever. And it was a TLC match with midgets, little people. I've always thought it's like when you'd, excuse me, bit of a burp came with this. You know when people call midgets little people? The whole, by the way, this whole thing felt really offensive to me. Not that I'm a guy who gets offended, it just felt like it was being really offensive, like really intentionally offensive. But yeah, calling midgets, small people, little people, don't you think that sounds really offensive? And it's like back in the day when people would call black people coloured, and that just really seemed really racist. And we're still on the up and up about calling black people or calling them coloured, or I'm not even sure what you're meant to do, to be perfectly frank. But yes, this match was completely hilariously really good, to be honest. They had a TLC match with midgets. 3MB got involved because Hornswoggle is a part of 3MB, which means they're either 3.5 MB or 4 MB now. That means they get a slight upgrade. Against the Bull of the Los Matadores. And it's really bad when you're two wrestlers who are really good wrestlers. It's Primo and Epico, the brothers of Carlito and the sons of Carlos Colon. Really good wrestlers. It's really bad when the midget bull who's with you is way more over than you and getting way more face time. I actually remembered this song. I'm going to end up ranting on loads of shit. I always do. This always happens. It's just how I operate. Oh, God. I hate it. When they went to debut Los Matadores, I saw the promo things, and it was like, they're legendary bullfighters, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what, this could actually work. This could be kind of... I thought it was going to be a serious gimmick. I really did. And the second they debuted and they had the bull, I was like, oh no. Their music changed as well. It was like... It was... Oh, there goes Nicole. It was almost a very serious, like, old school Matador music kind of thing from, like, back in the day. And they came out to that horrible music they have now, and the second they did that I was like, oh great, this is a comedy gimmick, and they're stuck with it, with the bull. But that's enough of that rant. Let's get to the match, because the match was really fucking good. Like, really, 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 really good, to the point where it was for, like, match of the night, almost. There's other candidates, and we'll get to those. But seriously, if you haven't seen this match, go watch it. It's a hell of a lot of fun. 3MB get involved. It's obviously no disqualification. The Matadores get involved. Los Matadores. Ole! 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 That's all they fucking do. Other than... Oh, God. I'm not going to get into them, because I always just get... My arm... You know, I get mad. You know I'm mad when my fucking hands start flying and my mouth moves faster than I can think. So it was really, really good. There were some great spots, table spots, some silly spots. I love 3MB. I am a huge fan of Heath Slater. I think one day he will go somewhere. I've always loved Drew McIntyre. From back in the day when he told Teddy to get down on his hands and knees. And Jinder Mahal from the times when he used to slap his brother-in-law, Khali, around. And anyone who slaps the great Khali around is good with me. But yeah, the whole thing was very offensive, though. As you know, it was a great match. I loved it. But I was watching, I was like, I'm glad I'm not a midget, or I have someone in my family who's a midget, or anyone who would be upset by anything. Because, okay, they had and I'm not fucking lying here either, they had an announce table in front of their announce tables, their normal announce tables. And it was small. It was a midget table with midgets sat there. And the midgets were dressed as the normal commentators. Now, the commentators were Jerry Smaller, God, what was the other one? Micro Cole. So Micro Cole, as in a small person. And JB Elf. Because elves are also midgets, you know. I think they also called him WeeBL at the beginning. I think they botched that a little bit. He was like, I'm WeeBL. But I might have picked that up wrong. I only watched it once, and I'm not going to watch it again. It was a really good match, but it was so... Oh, and they had a midget referee, sorry. Oh, and a midget ring announcer. They had a midget everything. God, of course. Midget TLC, WLC. But the match was really good and really well done. I think everyone went through a table. Heath Slater went through a table. I think Jinder Mahal died going through like 4 tables and 2 ladders. I think so. I think he hit his head off like the ladder on the way down. Like really tough. And El Torito just wins out of nowhere. Just hits a springboard thingamajig. Hornswoggle goes through the table. Oh god, Hornswoggle. Goes through a table. And that's it. You get 1, 2, 3. You know what? And you know, watching... I was on the wrestling forums. I'm always on the wrestling forums. I never post, but I like reading what people say. Everyone before this was not giving it a chance. Not one chance. And to be perfectly frank, I didn't give it a chance either. And the things people are saying are like, get Hornswoggle the fuck off my TV. Like, they've never liked him. Now, I think Hornswoggle is a true representation of how bad things can get when your gimmick is stale. And I think, like, I'm not sure if anyone here watching has been watching long enough to remember the little bastard. The guy, the Hornswoggle, the heel Hornswoggle, who was with Finlay, who actually was kind of cool. He would go around hitting people and helping Finlay cheat. You know, he'd come from another ring. He was like a little gremlin, little goblin kind of thing. A leprechaun. He was a leprechaun. That's what he is. He's a leprechaun. And I liked it. I could deal with that. And then he transitioned into being a face with Finlay because the kids loved him. And then Well, my camera just got really weird and I needed to delete some stuff. I'm just going to move you back. So yeah, what was I talking about? I was talking about Hornswoggle, yeah. Hornswoggle, oh god, what was I talking about? Yeah, he went with Finley and was a leprechaun, and then he was a nice leprechaun. So he lost a lot of, you know, edge and stuff, and then he just floundered and wound up being pretty much in every stupid kiddie thing you can ever see. You know, he's in the Great Khali versus someone. So it's like big, little and large, you know, giant versus, or, you know, with a midget. It's like, oh, that's really cool. It's a funny little midget. John Cena messes around with him sometimes, and silly things happen backstage with him, and because of that, everyone fucking hates him. And you know what? You go back and find anyone like that, you will fucking hate them. Like, you hate the Great Khali, not because he's a terrible wrestler, and a lot of people do hate him because he's a terrible wrestler, but it's a lot to do with he does the comedy gimmick and stuff for the little kids and stupid stuff like that. And anyone stuck with that will wind up being hated. So I feel like I owe Hornswoggle a bit of an apology. Not that he knows about me or cares about me, but sorry, Hornswoggle. Because, you know, it's not his fault. It's no one's fault when they're stuck with that kind of shit. And you know what? Last night showed that he could do stuff, you know? He's obviously not the greatest wrestler. In fact, I think he can barely wrestle. I think El Torito is really fucking good, to be honest. For a little guy, in fact, not even just for a little guy, he's probably better than half the roster, to be honest. But Hornswoggle made an entertaining match, and I think him with 3MB is going to be pretty cool. I'm just happy that good things happened, to be honest. That was a really, really good match. But yeah, Hornswoggle just got stuck with a bunch of shit. And when people on the forums are like, oh, I want Hornswoggle off my TV, and fuck Hornswoggle, I'm not even going to give this a chance, you know, maybe we all get stuck with shitty gimmicks we don't want. They're called jobs! Okay, I think I've spent far too much time talking about Hornswoggle. Match was... that's not my thumb, I was going to put my thumb up. Fantastic match, though. Alright, let's check my phone. What is the next match? I remember the next match without looking at my phone. I'm going to unlock it, though. The next match was, and the first match of the actual pay-per-view, was Cesaro versus Jack Swagger versus Rob Van Dam, which I found was a very, very strange match. Why Rob Van Dam? I know they kind of fought in the Intercontinental title tournament. I know Paul Heyman kind of has a history with Rob Van Dam. But this match that was Rob Van Dam versus Antonio Cesaro, versus Jack Swagger, should have been Cesaro versus Swagger. Now, I'm not sure if they did this triple threat so that later on we can have a Swagger versus Cesaro feud, or if we can have just a big match between them. You know, these guys were once tag team partners, but now they're enemies, you know. Maybe they did that. Maybe they put Rob Van Dam there so that they haven't really fought, but they have. Rob Van Dam didn't make much sense to me. It's a bit strange, but they're all fairly good wrestlers. In fact, they were all very good wrestlers. Now, Cesaro's music has been the topic of debate over the past few weeks, with the tornado siren and the really cool music. I just love his music. Although they've released a second version that he had last night, which I don't like. I think the old one was better, and people shat on that. They were like, "This is terrible. This is generic." I was like, "This is anything but generic. It's really cool." And then people are posting, Perry Saturn's theme, which had the exact same tornado siren. It's like, who cares? It's a tornado siren. It's cool. It's good. It's great. Why compare it to someone who was around fucking 14 years ago? Seriously. I know people who watch wrestling and post on those forums grew up during the Attitude Era and really, really knew Perry Saturn quite well, but fucking hate them. This match was good, I guess. It had everything that you want. I don't know, something felt odd and off about it. Jack Swagger gets eliminated. It's a triple threat elimination for some reason. I have no idea why. Another thing, it's like, why? Like, you rarely see triple threat eliminations. Like, triple threat elimination matches, you rarely see. You even more rarely see them when they're not for a title. Because usually it would be, you have an elimination match, because, and you usually don't have an elimination match, I'm just saying, but you usually have one when there's a title involved so that someone can't just get a cheap win. Because usually with triple threats, the champion is at a disadvantage. Yeah, that's normal. So if you have an elimination match, it's less of a disadvantage. Because, like what happened at WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan he made Batista submit, yes? Randy Orton was not part of that decision. Therefore, he's, that's the disadvantage. You lose. So you usually have a title match. This was not a title match. This match felt really off, just like off. And Cesaro won. It was also an Extreme Rules match, like there were weapons involved. And I know it's at Extreme Rules, and I know it's an Extreme Rules pay-per-view, but a lot of these matches weren't, and I'm not sure, actually, but I'm not sure, actually, but I could swear that not all the matches were Extreme Rules. So why was this match an Extreme Rules match? And I hate calling it Extreme Rules match. It's no disqualification. And I didn't even know there was a no disqualification match until, I guess, right at the end when Rob Van Dam gets the trash can out. And I swear to God, Michael Cole is the fucking worst commentator in the world. And I'm not sure if they're told to do this or what, but Rob Van Dam throws the trash can to Cesaro, and he hits him with the Van Daminator, which is a finisher. It's a big move. If it's not a finisher... In fact, this should be more of a finisher than the 5-star frog splash, because he's just... It's a finisher involving a weapon. Weapons that hurt people. They get them on the floor for 3. For 3! And sorry. And Michael Cole just no-sells it. He doesn't sell it at all. He doesn't even say it's the Van Daminator. He's like, I was like, where's the selling? It's like, that's the Van Daminator. Oh my God, he's gonna beat Cesaro. Oh, that's what it should be like, right? It should be like that. It should be like, oh my God, it's and then Cesaro kicks. I think Cesaro kicked out of the Van Daminator or something. But yeah, it should be like that. It should be like, I can't believe it. It was the Van Daminator through a trash can. And, yeah, that bothered me. Okay, the first one eliminated was Swagger. He got deadlift superplexed by Cesaro, which is awesome. Like, he just picks them up from, like, the ground and superplexes them. It's great. Just shows his strength. He's really strong. Him body slamming Big Show at WrestleMania wasn't like my favorite part of it. I've seen it a million times, and he makes the Big Show look like a small man, which is so cool. So he hits deadlift superplex, and as they land, Rob Van Dam comes through with the 5-star frog splash. That's 1, 2, 3. And I think the finish was... Oh God, how did that end? After the Van Daminator, I think Rob Van Dam went to the top rope and went for the 5-star frog splash and missed and hit the trash can, I think, with his face. I think he was bleeding. I think I caught him bleeding, like his face hit the trash can, and then he takes the neutralizer through it. And that's 1, 2, 3, GG, well played. So that's that. You know, Cesaro wins. You know, Cesaro was always going to win that. I have no idea why it was and I need to check my phone again because I need to know who's the next match on the card. But I have no idea why this was a triple threat. This should have been either Rob Van Dam versus Cesaro, or it should have been Cesaro versus Jack Swagger, because both those feuds could be good. You know, you got Rob Van Dam, who was managed by Paul Heyman, versus Paul Heyman's new guy, and Rob Van Dam could be like, and he did say this, oh, you shouldn't be with Paul Heyman, and Cesaro's going to be like, I want to go to the top, I'm going to be with Paul Heyman. Rob Van Dam would be like, okay, I'm going to kick your ass now then, and Cesaro's like, and that's a match. And with Swagger, it's like, we used to be partners, you left us. We have reasons to fight anyway. We both want to be the best. We've both got managers who hate each other. That's a match. Why was this a triple threat? Why did this exist? See, I got my ranting shoes on because that match was a good match. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't shit. It wasn't terrible. Felt a bit flat at times. The finish was okay. I hate Michael Cole's commentating. I cannot stand it. He needs to sell certain things better. Either way. The next match was Alexander Rusev versus the two guys who no one cares about. There is Xavier Woods. I'm not sure if his name is Xavier Woods or Xavier Woods. It was like Professor X or whatever. And R-Truth versus one man, Alexander Rusev, who the beginning was fucking hilarious. I was Lana comes out and she's like, I want to dedicate this next match to the strongest and most wonderful man in the world, the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. Put his face on the Titantron. It was like, boo. I was just like, that made me I was watching it, I was like, is she going to be talking about Vladimir Putin? Like, because I knew where she was going with it. And she's got his face on the Titantron. Everyone was like, I was like, what? Why did that have to be there? I liked it. It was more of a comedy bit for me, though. It was to the point where it's like, oh, if I could write it any more ironically, any more like, oh, and then she would say that Vladimir Putin was her hero, and then show up the Titantron. Yeah, that's what I would write if I was doing it ironically. And seeing that, I was just like really happy. Oh god. Oh god, that's stupid. So yeah, Lana comes out, and then Rusev comes out, and I think Xavier Woods might be injured. Like, this match was weird. I think he might have some niggling injuries because he didn't even get in this match. Basically, Rusev's in the ring, and the two guys come out, and Rusev knocks Truth into Woods, and Woods just doesn't get up. I think he takes like a slam outside and just doesn't get up, and it's basically the match is Truth versus it's basically Truth versus Rusev, and Rusev just destroys him as usual. Although actually Rusev, it wasn't a squash match. It wasn't a normal squash match at all. Rusev took the scissors and Michael Cole again. This fucking pisses me off. Because I was thinking, I Alright, R-Truth has 3 finishes, or at least moves that were finishes that are incorporated into a set, that move into finisher territory. He has the lie detector, the scissors kick, and the one where it's the oh god, the little Jimmy thing, the one where he jumps up and falls back with them. I think that's his actual finisher. Anyway, Truth hits after getting loads of offense in, and Rusev's doing this thing where he's not going down. He doesn't go off his feet. And he's like, whoa, when he gets hit by a clothesline or something. Truth gets him off his feet, properly off his feet. And he hits the lie detector, which is the, oh god, it's the clothesline where he does like a corkscrew thing. That used to be his finisher for a while. So that's one finisher. And I'm like, ooh, he hits finisher. And then he hits the scissors kick, which was his first original finisher. And I'm thinking, wow, he might do it. And you know what? Michael Cole's just like, oh, and he hits, oh, and that's a great move. And he goes to the cover. It should be like, oh, the scissors kick. Rusev's down. Oh, it's 1 and 2. You should feel like Rusev is in, like, jeopardy. That he could be beaten right there. That this was all that R-Truth can throw at him. And it's like, oh no, Rusev's a monster. He kicked out. It's like 1, 2, and there's a kick. Oh, and a kick out at 2 by Rusev. Really, I really think that's one of the problems with WWE is the way the commentary works, and the way that they make you feel during matches. Because if a commentator, like even if fucking Triple H hits the pedigree on someone, and it's like, and it rolls into the cover, 1, 2, and then they go off and talk about the WWE app, yeah? That's bad, because you don't think that it's going to be the end. But when commentary is like really just like into you, it's like, oh my god, this might be the end. And I don't mean the really bad, like, oh, it's gonna be over, when they make it really obvious, when it's very ambiguous and you don't know what's going to happen. I'm getting all sweaty talking. I rant when I talk about wrestling. I really do. And yeah, I thought that maybe he could have beat Rusev there. Or at least in my mind. Because I know that these were his finishing moves. A new person to wrestling may not have known these were powerful moves. Now, if a wrestler does moves through a match, they usually have like powers and... powers. But, usually a move is their finishing move, which is more powerful, and, if someone hits a suplex, they're usually not going to get a pin off it. If they hit their finisher, they're going to get a pin off it. So you, as a commentator, you need to convey which are the stronger moves. Now, these 2 moves by R-Truth have been his finishers in the past, and are incorporated into his signature set. Now, when these hit one after the other, I think you should be a bit more like, oh, he might actually beat him. Oh, no. Michael Cole, it might not even be Michael Cole's fault, because it might be just the way he's told to announce, but, you know what I mean? Pisses me off. Anyway, Rusev wins this match with the camel clutch, which I hate on him, I'm just saying. They call it the Accolade, which I like. A very nice name. I like his normal, his slam finish. It's like a fall-away slam, but he just lifts him over his head and just drops him back. When I watched the Royal Rumble, he really I was like, wow, who's this guy? Because he'd been on NXT, and I don't watch that because there's no point in watching NXT, because it's like, no matter how good they are there, they'll go to Raw and it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't. It just doesn't. So I just kind of try to distance myself from that, because I'd get really excited about someone and then they'd just get buried and I'll be really upset. I've been through this before. I'm not going to do that shit again. But Rusev wins with the Accolade, the camel clutch. Do they have to have that on every fucking foreign guy? I mean, is Scott Steiner the only, American to ever use the camel clutch? So dumb. But, it works on him, I guess. But seriously, when Lana's like, Rusev, crush, in her very thingy voice, why would he go into a submission move? Doesn't crush mean like you're gonna just like crunch them into the floor with like some power move? It kind of is a bit. I'm leaving this match because it's pretty obviously Rusev wins. Alright, now let's have a look at what's the next match on the card. God, I have to keep going into my phone, keep locking. Oh, the next match was Bad News Barrett versus Big E. And Big E has had one of the boring, worst reigns as Intercontinental Champion. Now, this is why I don't like NXT, because I've heard this guy is really charismatic and shit in NXT. Comes to the Raw roster, they put the Intercontinental title on him, and he does the worst babyface things they can do, like, I'm so proud to be Intercontinental Champion. And, he's backstage, and Wade Barrett's won the title tournament, and he's there with his title over his shoulder, and he's like, yeah. I'm ready. He's patting his title like, I'm ready for you, man. I don't care who won. I'm a fighting champion. Pats his fucking title. It's like the worst thing you can do. It's like so generic. Oh, God. Oh, makes me mad. I love wrestling, but because I love wrestling so much, I get angry at stuff. I am, of course, a Wade Barrett fan since he's from England. You can't be English and not have some really strong feelings towards other English people. William Regal, the British Bulldog back in the day, I loved that guy. And Wade Barrett. Drew McIntyre as well, to an extent. He's not English. He's from the UK though. Same landmass, just go a bit up north, you find some Scottish people. This match, actually, I don't really remember too much of it. It was, okay. I was worried Wade Barrett wasn't going to win. I really was. He goes for the bullhammer elbow, and it gets ducked. When that happens, when he misses the elbow, I'm like, shit. Big E's won this. And he does like a flying bullhammer elbow to finish the match, which I really liked. It was very good. But I feel bad for Big E. I don't want to see him on my screen because he's boring as fuck because of the character they've given him, which is basically... Well, no character. There is no character to him. There is zero. Other than when he comes out and does his taunt with the chalk, the weightlifting chalk. Other than that, could you name me one thing he does? One thing Big E is. One part of his personality. One part of Big E as a person. Could you tell me one thing about him? I could tell you one thing about Wade Barrett. He loves giving bad news. He takes he enjoys other people's misery. Yeah, there you go. I've told you one thing. He takes enjoyment in it. In fact, a great enjoyment. He's just like, I've got some bad news. He's really happy. Yeah. What's Big E? Tell me something about Big E. Can you? Leave it in the comments if you fucking can, because seriously, fucking. But the new Intercontinental Champion, Bad News Barrett, and I'm really happy about that. He's been getting some cheers as well lately. It's just like people love the whole thing. I think people love he's a troll. That is what he is. He's a fucking troll. And people just love it. He just seems to be getting really over it. It's hilarious. Alright, let's check the next match. The next match was the match that cost me money. I had bets on WWE, and yes, you can bet on WWE. And I'd bet on all 8 matches, so I bet £10. Not exactly a huge amount of money. And if I got them all right, I got something like £42. The only match I got wrong was the next match, which was the Shield versus Evolution. I picked Evolution. I I really thought Ric Flair was going to be a part of this match, because I really, really thought he was going to give someone a low blow. You know, Ric Flair style. But no, they decided not to have him in this match. If I knew that, I probably wouldn't have bound them. This match was very good. Very, very good. Not sure if this was an Extreme Rules match. I'm not sure if every match was an Extreme Rules match. Fairly sure that Triple Threat was not an Extreme Rules match. It was an Extreme Rules match, but they didn't say it. And if it's an elimination match, then it should have disqualifications. It's not like a normal Triple Threat, because the reason you don't, and here you go, the reason you don't have disqualifications in a Triple Threat match is because how would you disqualify someone? Someone hits someone with a chair, yeah? What do? They lose the match. How do they lose the match when there's 3 people involved, yeah? How do you do that? It's impossible. Now, with an elimination match, you can lose. You can be eliminated. So that's why there would be disqualifications in a Triple Threat elimination match. So I don't think they announced that was an Extreme Rules Triple Threat elimination match. Which means that... oh god, I'm going over myself. Which means that either every match was an Extreme Rules match, or some of this was just bullshit, because the amount of times that they needed to tag in and out in this Shield versus Evolution match was insane. Because I was like, is this not Extreme Rules? Do they really have to tag in and out? What's the referee going to do? Disqualify them? No, he's not going to disqualify them. So why aren't they all in the ring brawling? I guess it's just so that it doesn't turn into a fucking clusterfuck, which it can with like 6 people. Very good match though. I just like seeing the Shield. I love Evolution. I truly believe that Triple H should be champion at least one more time. He is the best heel. No one can touch him. I can't think of anyone else. If you look back at Triple H, and I'm talking Evolution Triple H, I'm talking Evolution Triple H, early 2000s Triple H, 2001 Triple H, definitely. The guy who would, well, like JR used to say, sell his own grandmother for a shot at the title. I loved that. I loved it. And he plays it so fucking well. And I think, who better, really? I mean, and I'll get to this in a bit, but I'll mention it right now. The problem with Daniel Bryan having a long reign as champion is that there's no one for him to face. There's just no one. And I've been saying that he should not have a long reign. I said a month and a half at most. He should lose it at the next pay-per-view because he's a much better chaser. So long as he stays in the main event, so long as he stays up there, he should, and he'll be able to get to be like a 5-time champion, 6-time champion by doing this as well. And when you got 6-time champion behind your name, it's like, oh, that guy's good. To the casuals at the very least. So I think Triple H should have a good run as a heel. And anyways, the fucking leader of the Authority, who better to, just completely rape the WWE for, all of the gold. It'd be fantastic. I mean, who wouldn't want that? A lot of people think they don't want it, and a lot of people are like, oh, he's so old, Triple H just married into this. It's like, so he married into being one of the best heels of all time. Oh no, he didn't. He married into being one of the best heel workers of all time. And you know what? He's not a bad face either. He's a really fucking good face as well. Bit bland, but he can still kick ass. He's very likable, and he's very hateable at the same time. And people just he's only got a spot because he's married. Hey, because he married Stephanie. It's like, maybe he did only get to that spot because he married Stephanie. But it's not like he was shit at what he did. It's not like he didn't deserve to be there. He put the work in. That's my rant on Triple H. There's a match I'm meant to be talking about. Oh, the Shield versus Evolution. Really, really good match. There was a lot of outside stuff, a lot of extreme stuff. Seth Rollins jumping from what must have been 15 feet in the air onto concrete. I hope they caught him well, because that could have really hurt. That was just fantastic. Really, really, really have to love the Shield. The Shield, God, when you think of the Shield, and I know they've been protected a lot and all this stuff, but when you think of the Shield over the past, what was it, 18 months, 20 months they've been around, man, you think match of the night pretty much every single night. They have really just been so good, and I worry a lot about them when they split up. I really do, because going out on your own and building each other and like not leaving one behind, and I really worry about Ambrose and Rollins. I know everyone thinks Reigns is going to be the new big guy and basically the new Batista, what Batista was in 2004-5. They think that's going to be him. I'm not sure. I think they definitely need to get some title defenses under Ambrose's belt, because the fact that he hasn't defended it. I know he defended it last week, but he defended it like 5 times in 12 months or something. US title is worth nothing. I hope they just merge it with the Intercontinental title to make the Intercontinental title. But yeah, that's my worries. But they put on match of the night pretty much every time they are out there, which is fantastic. Goes to show how good they are as a talent. Yeah, it goes to show how good they are as a talent. They are as a whole, as a unit, as the Shield. It's like the real life and the scripted kind of merge a little bit there, because as a unit, as a performing trio, they are fantastic. Not sure what it's going to be like when they're on their own, but as a trio, they're fantastic. And, in the wrestling world, they're basically not unbeatable, but, well, they beat Evolution, who 31 world titles between them, etc., etc. Pretty much the best you can find in singles, 3 single people put together against a unit, and they beat the unit. The unit beat the singles, sorry. So, it was good. Reigns won with the Superman punch into the spear, which made me very sad, because I had money on Evolution. I got all of my predictions right except for this match as well, which makes me very sad. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. I always get one wrong every time. I'm just going to bet on the ones that are really, really, really big favourites. Alright, I don't think I need to look at the next one, because I think I know the next 3 matches. I think they're Bray Wyatt and Paige and Bryan, yeah. Okay, oh god, this match. Alright. So yeah, the next one is Bray Wyatt versus John Cena inside of a 15-foot high steel cage. So where do I start? Okay. Shit. Where do I start? I actually have no idea where to start. Okay, let's start with the build-up to this match, because this match had a really fucking good build-up. So the story they're trying to tell. The story they're trying to tell is Bray Wyatt is a monster. But he's a very persuasive monster. And he can make anyone follow him. Just like Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. For months, the Wyatts have been getting cheers, and John Cena is losing his fan base to him. you know, they're following the monster, they're following the buzzards, and John Cena is scared of this. That every week the C Nation is being led astray, and it's all come to a head with Bray Wyatt walking out with a choir full of children who all sing "He's got the whole world in his hands," which I'm fairly sure will turn into just being very, very annoying at some point, but right now it's not. And then the kids all put on those sheep masks, and it's like, oh, all of these kids are all mine now, John. He's like, ha 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 ha. And you know, when Bray Wyatt starts laughing like like one of those megalomaniacs, like a proper villain from a movie, you'd think some of the kids would be like, "The fuck's he laughing at? That's a pretty evil laugh." Is this guy a bad guy? Is this guy a bad guy when he's laughing like, ha 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 ha, I've got you now, John? It's like, is this guy a bad guy? He looks like a bad guy to me. You know, even if they're brainwashed, like, this is a bit weird. You know, not that, you know, anything he doesn't do is weird. So I had a prediction for this match. And I was telling Aaron about it, Mr. Yamimash. We were talking about it, and it made him laugh when I said it. So I'll say it for you guys too. My prediction would be they get inside the steel cage, and Bray Wyatt's kids all come out, and they're all like, "Oh no!" They're all around the ring with the sheep masks on. John Cena's like, "Oh no! I have to save the C Nation!" And within maybe 5 minutes, he hoists Bray Wyatt onto his shoulders and gives him the attitude adjustment. And it's 1, 2, 3. John Cena's music plays. And he's so happy. And the cage comes up, and he goes over to one of the kids with the mask on, and he pulls off the mask, and he's all like, "You're free now, little Johnny." And the kid's like, "Thank you, John," and all the kids are like all around John Cena giving them a hug. That was my idea. That was my idea of the worst possible outcome. Now, this match, we'll go through the match, and then we'll go through the finish. The match was a systematic beatdown of Bray Wyatt. John Cena, of course, needs to win really hard. Yeah, you know, I actually have no problem with this. Bray Wyatt is not meant to be an amazing wrestler. I don't think he's meant to be an amazing wrestler. He's not meant to be the best. He's meant to be the most charismatic. He's meant to be the cult leader. He's meant to be the man who makes people follow him. And he uses this to his advantage, like making Eric Rowan and Luke Harper put their bodies in harm's way, which is making kids, you know, do his bidding, which, when he makes the WWE Universe vote for John Cena to be against all 3 of the Wyatt family. So I kind of have no problem with Bray Wyatt losing this match really hard. And then again, fucking hell, he should be losing the match really hard. John Cena's a 15-time world champion, if we're talking, you know, story. I mean, he's not the greatest wrestler ever, but if you look at like what the WWE likes to put him as, you know, it's Bray Wyatt shouldn't be beating him. Why would he be beating him? So I have no problem with the beatdown on him. I have no problem that the guys Rowan and Harper need to help him out. I have a problem with how long it went. I have a problem with I have a problem with any John Cena match, pretty much. There's always something wrong with it. I think when you can't change your character, it really, really hurts you. And maybe he doesn't want to change his character, maybe he does. But the WWE obviously doesn't want to change it. I think they've got to the point now where they're like, we're never going to change it so that it becomes like a lasting legacy. Like, everyone changed at some point. Hulk Hogan did. Stone Cold Steve Austin did. The Rock did. Andre the Giant did. He turned heel. Randy Savage turned heel. The Ultimate Warrior I don't think did, but no one cared about the Ultimate Warrior at the time. Rest in peace. Rest in pepperonis. And the Ultimate Warrior was not around that long. You know, everyone turned heel. I think they're gonna have the point is like John Cena will retire with his legacy intact, and you know that he always stood for hustle, loyalty, and respect. And I'm not even sure what that means. And you know, I think that's what they're going for now, and I think they won't tarnish it. Now I've gone off track, so let's get back to the match, which went ages. John Cena tries to get over the top, and the Wyatt family keep putting him back in, and basically it's a 3-on-1 handicap match. Basically, and John Cena fights through, and the finish is John Cena has laid out all 3 of the Wyatt family. Of course he has. He's John fucking Cena. I mean, what else is he gonna do? This has really made me laugh, to be honest. John Cena is going for the door, and he opens the door, and the Wyatt family graphic comes up. It's like, and then it goes dark for about 10 seconds. In which John Cena could have got out of the ring. He could have just walked out. You know, when the lights go down and the Wyatt family graphic comes on the screen, you don't have to stop what you're doing. You can just keep walking, mate. You can just keep walking. And John Cena is met at the door by a little boy with a microphone, singing. He's got the whole world in his hands, and they've lowered his voice so he sounds like this. So it's like, he's got the whole world in his hands. So they're going for like some really creepy thing. Now, funny. It's really funny because I was thinking, oh, so the Wyatt family got a microphone and they lowered the pitch on it, so it'd creep John Cena out, right? And the kid would creep him out, and the kid would help. You know, John Cena would be like, "The fuck is going on?" You know, and that's what the Wyatt family will have done. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, oh, that's really cool. They did that. That's not what they did. In storyline terms, like, I thought that this wouldn't be like some supernatural shit. Not that, you know, there isn't supernatural shit going on, because that graphic hits the screen, the lights go out, they appear from nowhere. Like, they were back having a cup of tea, and now they're out in the middle of the ring, so. But my point was, that little kid, who had the really deep voice, the really, like, he's got the whole world in his hands. When they were backstage, they just randomly talking to him, and he's still got the voice. He's still got the voice. He's like, yes, no. I can't remember what he said. I don't know if he was laughing or something. But I can't remember what he said. I can't remember what the kid said. But he still had the really deep voice. I was like, are we meant to believe that this kid has been, like, possessed or something? Because that's what we're meant to believe. It's this kid has been possessed. Literally possessed to the point where he sings, he's got the whole world in his hands with a man's voice. And then backstage when he's talking with them, it's just like, oh, it's got the whole world. It's the dumbest shit. I enjoy it. I'm so happy they're actually just throwing everything into this, but yeah. Oh, this kid's name is Little Johnny as well. I think he's Little Jimmy's little brother. If anyone gets that reference, fuck. But him, I love it, and at the same time, I think it's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Oh, God. It's so dumb. Alright, let's move on, shall we? Alright, so the next match was Paige versus Tamina Snuka. And what can you say, really, about this match? They're still trying to get Paige over. Paige is just not going to lose for a while. I like Paige. She's quite good. That's all I can say. She's from Norwich, actually. So she's got the dirty Chav accent. She's got a really horrible Chav accent. She sounds like a proper skirt. Like the accent just really makes her... Like, you look at her and you're like, oh, wow, she's really pretty. Like, she's really hot. And then you hear her talk. And I don't know if people from America... Like people from America hear English accents from anywhere. And they're like, oh, that's really exotic and cool and sexy. An English person hears that accent, they're like, ugh. You know, it's kind of a scut accent, so... yeah, that's me talking there. This match went on about 5 minutes. Tamina Snuka lost. I was pulling for Tamina. I like Tamina. Why does Tamina have to get beat? Like, why did they ever go against Tamina? Like, I know Tamina Snuka's the big one. I know she's the biggest woman, and like she's a monster. That's what she's meant to be. She's like the size of a normal guy in wrestling. I don't know why she goes right over Tamina. I mean, who else is she going to beat from now on? Nikki Bella? Like, really, especially if AJ doesn't come back. And I even said this, like, I said AJ ain't coming back. I said this, like, the night after WrestleMania, when she lost the title, I was like, are they firing AJ? I was like, she's not coming back, and she hasn't been back. Because of CM Punk, they're getting married. Those two are going to, you know, I mean, God, do you think, with the way CM Punk did shit, do you really think that AJ is getting the title back? Do you really think AJ is going to be at the top? Do you think that AJ is not going to be buried beyond belief? Because she is, if she comes back. So I hope she doesn't. But I like her. She's kind of hot. But yeah, Paige wins with the modified Scorpion Crosslock. Which, to me... this actually pissed me off about this match. And I wish she'd won with a Paige Turner, which is her really weird little neck breaker, which looks like shit. Now, Paige is against the monster, the most monstrous woman there is. A woman who you could think would probably take a bit of pain. Now, because Tamina's so big, I think, Paige could not keep the Scorpion Crosslock on long, because she has to hold her entire body weight up. This made it so that Tamina had to tap immediately, because Paige couldn't hold her up. Now, Tamina tapping straight away, I'm like, this woman's a monster. She should be in this hold for maybe 20 seconds and then tap out. Why is she tapping out straight away? Because Paige can't fucking hold her up because she's just not strong enough. Which means she shouldn't be using that submission in the first place. She should be winning with the fucking Paige Turner. That's my rant on that one. Alright, so we're going to go into the main event. Which, whenever anyone gets a long title reign, we're talking John Cena, Chris Benoit, we're talking Daniel Bryan now. They get fed some monster heels. And Kane and the Big Show and the Great Khali have always been there. Oh, Batista. Batista was one of these people. Kane is the most generic of them all, really. Especially, he's got his mask back now, but it doesn't really change what he is when he gets into those matches. These matches always seem to be the same, but then again, this did have a few good bits. When they were in the ring, it was pretty much exactly the same as a Kane match, a normal Kane match. But this was Extreme Rules. They had a great spot where Kane went through a flaming table. It wasn't fully on fire. Like the middle bit where he was going through, they made sure not to set that on fire. They set the bits around it on fire if you looked really closely. That was really cool. It's nice to see fire. I didn't think they'd allow them to do that. What with, fire and health and safety and, excuse me, all that bullshit. They had a couple of bits backstage that were really cool. Kane putting his hand through a car window, stuff like that. The forklift bit was stupid. It was a funnish match. It was okay. I was like, Kane, you poor thing. I mean, he on Raw you can tombstone the guy into a steel steps, but you can't do it on a pay-per-view when it really matters. The finish was absolutely hilarious, by the way. The finish was the flaming table. Kane sets the flaming table on fire and goes for the chokeslam on Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan just knocks him off, and he just falls into the flames. And he's like, "Oh, I'm on fire!" He's not on fire. He's not at all on fire. The table, I don't think he's even flaming, really. And he falls through it. And these guys with fire extinguishers are there immediately. They're like, just like Kane's out. Kane is out. He has no fire on him. In fact, he has blue. He has all of the white foam on him. And Kane's all out. The table's all out. But for the next 5 seconds, the guy's like, all up his face. He's like, stop! I'm done! And they just keep going. And he's trying to get into the ring. He's like, and there's still fire. Like, and he's like, there's fire extinguishers all over me. And then Daniel Bryan just hits him with a running knee and gets the 3. It's like the dumbest shit ever. So I'm going to give the assist to the 2 guys with a fire extinguisher for this match. Yeah. Daniel Bryan wins with the assist of fire extinguishers. This match. And at the end, it was like, and at the end, Kane's like, he does his fire powers and just like, and he looks evilly at Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's like, oh no. I don't know why he's like, oh no. I have no idea why he's looking like that. He's just beat Kane. Kane's like, and he's like, oh no. And they fade out the pay-per-view with Kane looking evilly with Kane's music. Kane didn't win anything. Why is Kane's music being... Why? Why is Kane's pyros going off? I guess this means Kane gets a rematch. Oh, yay. Oh, yay. This is... Oh, and you know what? He's going to get a rematch. Kane's going to get a rematch, you know? And you know what? It's going to be a regular match. It's not even going to be as good as this one. That's the worst bit. Alright, fucking hell. I've been talking for a long time, and I tend to do this. I really hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe. Click the thumbs up. Make sure to share it with your friends. If you got any wrestling people and you think this was fun, share it to them. It helps. Oh, man, I'm tired after all that. I'll see you guys around for probably the next pay-per-view, which is Payback in Chicago, Illinois. I wonder who lives there. Goodbye.
Rate, comment, subscribe. Rate, comment, subscribe. Rate, comment, subscribe. Rate, comment, subscribe. Rate, comment, subscribe.